That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Welcome back to That's a Gay-Ass Podcast, the podcast that asks, whose fault is it that you're gay, babe? It is me, Eric Williams, and the category is Gay-Ass Jew, because this week we welcome Jake Cohen back on the podcast to update us on his single life. That is right, Jake has now been divorced and has a lot to share in this new chapter of his gay-ass life. Now, we do talk about some of his slutty tales, but for the real deets, the real slutty scoop, go to Substack for the extended episode where he really lets us in and out of his gay ass slutty life. But please enjoy my chat with Jake Cohen. It's all about mishpucha today on That's a Gay Ass Podcast. And for the non-Jews, that means family. Jake Cohen, you are back on the pod after almost over 4 years since your first appearance. A lot has changed since you did this podcast on April 14th of 2021.
She's got the receipts.
Yeah, I was doing my research. But right before we clicked record, you said that you've run into someone that you met through this podcast. Can I guess who it is?
Yeah. All right. The context is, saw the social clip. Because famously, my favorite way to digest podcasts is in 30-second clips on Instagram and TikTok. And we did a follow. He followed back. We got into DMs. We got a cute little very friendly coffee session. And then I just ran into him on the West Side Highway yesterday.
Okay, so I think I know. If I'm wrong, it's going to be mortifying for me because it is.
No.
Is it a horny answer of who it is?
It's always a horny answer. It could have been. I don't know. You could have been interviewing I don't know. I was trying to think of the most non-horny person, and I would still make it horny.
Well, and that's why, again, you're mishpucha, because I'm also a horny gay Jew. I think it was at Hung Jewish.
No, but you want to know the story about that one? Wait, what does that have to do with this pod? Has he been on this pod?
Because but I've DM'd him about coming on, and I have a memory that the last time you did this podcast, I brought up that you wear a Star of David necklace, which I love.
The same star, and there was a conspiracy on the internet thinking that it was me. Yes.
Exactly. So for anybody who doesn't know who I'm talking about, Hung Jewish is on Twitter, and he is a very sexy, obviously Jewish and obviously hung, content creator who never shows his face. But what does he show? Hot hairy pecs, perfect dick. And Jake, I thought that you had told me that when we talked about him, that was your first entree to Hung Jewish. That's why I thought maybe you ran into him on the. I thought you ran into him on the West Side Highway.
No, but since then we've had plenty of entrees. But no, this is another.
Wait, who is it then? Who is?
It was Guy Wolf.
Oh my God. Okay, talk about chaotic gay Jews. That is
my middle name.
But I don't know. I think you and Guy Wolf have different levels of chaos, and I'm not saying that from a judgmental place. I'm just saying it from, again, to give context. Guy Wolf did our horny bonus series that is on Substack, and he is head to toe hairy king, slutty king, and yeah, people very much enjoyed his interview. Wait, so have you bumped Chamsas with both Hung Jewish and Guy Wolf?
No. Not yet.
Only Hung Jewish have you hooked up with?
Yes.
It's safe to say that because nobody knows he's
listen.
The
internet. The internet is people are quite the sleuth. But yes.
Wow, Jake, already with some big headlines.
But also, I'll say now we're just friends. It's become quite platonic. I think he's amazing. He's really integrated in a lot of my friend group. Amazing.
I love that. And don't you love how gay guys can see what's under the hood to start, and then once we do the oil change, we can sort of just enjoy the joyride after that?
Wow, a poet. Yeah, exactly. I think that's
Who
very much
knew
on the nose.
I saw the world through mechanics of cars, but here I am. You, Jake Cohen, see the world through gorgeous, gay, slutty chaos, food, Judaism, and you have a book coming out September 30th. It is called Dinner Party Animal. I'm just so I cavell every time I see your face on my internet, on my screen, because you first came on this pod to promote Jewish, the New York Times bestselling book. Then you came out with I Could Nosh. You have your third book coming out. And obviously I want to ask about some of the book stuff, the food stuff, but I feel like since it's been so long since you came on, I want to re-ask the podcast question. Jake Cohen, tell me, whose fault is it that you're gay? Who do we blame, babe?
So I'm going to give two answers. And really, I think you were like, oh, you could give the same answer as the last time. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if you have the, have the receipts, but
my research did not last that long.
It's in the reality television sphere. I would say on one end, it was Real World's Dustin Zito. Do you remember? He was the one who was like hooking up with this girl, and then it came out that he was doing gay for pay porn. And it was this whole thing. He was part of this, I don't even remember what was the name of the collective, but it was very much like a frat X, like hype house of guys that would just like jerk off with each other.
I do remember him.
And that was like, because I was like, oh, I have to see this porn that they're talking about. And then that kind of opened up the world of like frat boy porn for me, which was
sure.
But then on the other end,
I need to investigate this one.
Okay, go.
So Dustin Zito, he was on The Real World, and then was emerged for the Gay for Pay. Did your research tell you that he was just a straight guy making money in these Gay for Pays, or was he Okay.
No, I think 100% just Gay for Pay.
Okay, and then that got you into the frat porn of it all. Would you say that you are still turned on by frat Greek life?
100%. 100%. We're big fans of the University of Michigan.
IYKYK. Okay, what was the second reason for making you gay?
The second one, also in the reality television sphere, is Tiffany Pollard, who I think is... like, New York is the blueprint for reality TV. And I think what she taught me is I would come home, my sister and I would come home from Hebrew school on Sunday, and at we'd set the DVR for Flavor of Love. And VH1 had this weird thing where the new episode would come out that night, but they would air it in the middle of the day. Of the release day, so it'd be on my DVR. So we'd get back from Hebrew school and watch the new episode of Flavor of Love, and we were obsessed. This was like bar mitzvah age Jake, and
a day of education, learning Sunday school, the blessings from God, and then the blessings from Goddess Tiffany Pollard.
Exactly, she is the one who taught me that I'm the main character. She is the blueprint for main character energy. And I think that that is such a huge part of gay culture, gay life, just like my shtick in general. So she was so influential with that, because I saw that and I was like, oh, this is me. I got this. And then it just snowballed with like Nene Leakes and Jill Zarin and all of these housewives and reality stars, where it's like, I think I'm the main character in everyone else's story.
Well, I think you got confirmation that you are the main character, because then Jill Zarin herself became your girlina, where you're cooking over a fucking pot of matzo ball soup and whatever.
Literally, she's in the new book.
She's in the new book. And I have to say that your gay side and your Jewish side, it has a beautiful complementation, which is not a word, but I think that sometimes they're at odds, and I want to get into the at odds of it all as a gay journalist, because the gayness, yes, main character, we love to take up space after being told for so long that we should hide in the shadows, we're freaks, we don't deserve happiness, fine. Now we're trying to emerge as these proud, loud people. On the other side, though, I feel like as Jews, sure, we can be loud, passionate, main characters in a sense. We're also constantly afraid that we need to flee our homeland.
Yes.
And there's so much anxiety and stress. In fact, you said in an interview that your mantra is everything works out for me.
Yeah.
Tell me, Jake Cohen, as a neurotic gay Jew myself, That mantra seems counter to our generational trauma. How did you learn to believe that everything works out?
I'm telling you, before we started this, I called my mother. And she's like, oh my God, I miss you. You've been dodging my calls. And I'm really stressed right now going into book promo and press. And this is something that it happens every time. And I'm very much aware of what I need energy wise. And at the end of the day, her and my grandmother are chaos and anxiety incarnate. All they do is that I pick up, oh my God, this person and that person. Can you believe your aunt? Can you believe your sister? And I can't welcome that energy. That being said, about a year and a half ago, I got very into woo-woo. Like everything. I'm big into Abraham Hicks manifestation. I did the Hoffman process. I'm big into Artist's Way. Anything that is about wellness, meditation, positive intentional thinking, being your best self, and bringing more positivity into your life. So that was not easy. That everything works out for me is not an easy one. There are a couple. I have everything works out for me. I don't chase, I attract. A big one is I'm the prize. So it's what happens with guys. It's the big thing as I'm dating, because I'm single and this is kind of this past year has been my first time single since I've been out, because I've just always been in a relationship. I was very much a long-term relationship person. And so the big mantra is there's nothing more unattractive in a man than not being obsessed with me. And so I think that you have to just kind of repeat these things over and over and over. It's why they call them mantras. It's not supposed to be something that comes easy.
I cling to mantras with a white knuckle. I mean, when I first started to learn about the strength of positive thinking, I would repeat the same thing to myself as I fell asleep, but it wasn't I am the prize. It was more you're okay. You're gonna be fine. I came from such a scarcity mindset, and I've really tried to work at the feelings of abundance and that everything is working out, because at my core, I am very much, I come from people who it's always what's wrong. Of course. What can we complain about physically? We cannot be successful unless we're deeply anxious. The happiness and success does not come without a great cost. And so I'm trying to emerge as someone who is taking clearly whatever fucking drugs that fell out of those books you were reading. What's the Hawthorne of it all?
The Hoffman process. Oh my God. It's the thing that Katy Perry swears by. It's this week-long retreat, and they take your phone, and it's very much ritualized therapy for recognizing the patterns you inherited from your parents and your childhood, and creating ritual to help kind of create new neural pathways to rewire yourself.
Fuck yeah. So it sounds like you could do a week of the Hoffman process, which I know everybody's wondering how much it costs. I found it already. The tuition is $6,200. It gives you lodging, meals, and snacks. It went up. But it also sounds like a weekend on mushrooms that also helps kind of change my neural pathways.
Big on psychedelics. Last night I went to Mayhem Ball to Gaga.
Oh,
and
I did
way too many shrooms, and I had it was one of those things where I'm having nonstop revelations. It was just not the vibe, but it's just all of a sudden I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about work, I'm thinking about the book. I see this old woman, I'm thinking about my grandmother, and it was.
Listen,
I love psychedelics.
I do as well. I think for people like us who are trying to just constantly find a sense of peace, I think it does remind us that the world is bigger than just our neuroses. But obviously, as someone who is in a single part of his life for the first time in many years, I want to dive into that, because one of my questions was, how would you say your life has changed the most since you first did this podcast in 2021? And I would say that's a pretty big deal, because you and your ex, is it true that you got married around 24 years old?
Yeah.
So that's a child bride in our community. How long were you with your ex-husband, if you don't mind me asking?
Just under a decade.
Wow. And then when did the split happen? How long have you been single?
Just over a year.
Wow. So you really are in this metamorphosis of sort of seeing the world through single eyes for the first time. Would you say that people react differently to a gay divorce than what you have observed in people relating to straight divorces? Because gay marriage is still relatively new.
You know, I think everyone is weird about any kind of relationship. At the end of the day, everyone wants to be in everyone else's business. They love to project. I think that's the wildest thing is having any type of public persona. I'm glad that I found my niche in terms of cooking, because I think that the majority of my the idea of fame is through this lens of recipes or books, where people come up to me and it's typically not I love you, it's I love your cookbook, and that's what I love. But yeah, I don't. I
think about the probably this of it all.
No. And I've known. I've. This was like beginning. I feel like we started on social media together. And I remember like having breakfast with Bo and like knowing them years ago.
And that's,
again, I don't know them.
Point.
Don't know them. They're friends with a lot of people that I don't really like. So it's like I'm not like. I don't really have anything to say other than I wish them both well. Relationships are tough. They go through this, like, it's so tough when you integrate work and love. And I couldn't ever imagine doing it. And I see so many couples that keep relationships that really should end going because the business is too good. And
oh God. Well, and to your point, that I partly brought them up because you said that so many people on the internet like to weigh in, especially when it comes to a relationship ending and what they received in terms of everybody deciding who cheated, why their relationship ended based on a short video was, to me, crazy. And you got that hot exclusive. And don't get it twisted, Jake Cohen. Well, yeah, I mean, I've known them like, you know, just the same as you.
But again, you've known them, or have you hung out with them in person?
I've not hung out with them. Well, I met them in person once, but
we gotta stop. All these gay people, faggots, need to stop acting like they know people, that they like their things on Instagram. Just because you follow each other does not mean you know them. That's the issue with these parasocial relationships. Everyone thinks they know each other. Nobody knows anything. And so you just have to give grace that people are doing their thing, and you have grown to love the idea of the person that you see online. But until you are with them with cameras off in a room doing God knows what, you don't know them.
You don't know me. When you and your ex broke up, you kind of seemed to navigate it in the healthy way of like keeping it off of social media for quite some time.
He deserves nothing but privacy, nothing but respect. This is my life now moving forward. And I will never disrespect him or the relationship in that way. And because there was such beauty in it, I'm so grateful that it's so like preserved in my first 2 books. And now I'm really in this place where it's about this next chapter, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot I think that we can talk about when it comes to marriage, especially within the gay community. In fact, you said on Aaron Leachy's podcast that you think a lot of gay men stay in sexless relationships longer because we have a lot more Band-Aids. Would you say more about that? What are you saying those Band-Aids are?
It's the openness. I mean, listen, I just came back from my annual 2-week bender to Fire Island and P-Town, back to back. And you see it a lot. Funny enough, this happens. I got a good anecdote. I love an anecdote. So this happens all the time. First time I get to P-Town, hit up the grid, which is something that I'm trying to wean off. When I'm in New York, I try not to be on it so much. I'm not doing so great at that right at the moment. But in general, I delete the app and I only use it when I'm out of town. So we're in P-Town. We check out the grid, see this cute boy. We're talking. We're like, let's hook up, all this stuff. And then we couldn't make it the time happen that first night because I was there with my roommates with their partners, one of whom is straight. So he was there with his girlfriend. And so it was just this whole thing of us having this beautiful first half of the trip where it was just like this wholesome experience. And then I told them, get the fuck out on Wednesday. Your room's going to Brian Derrick. It's time to rage.
Yes.
And what happened is he was like, let's hang out tomorrow. Let's go out for coffee. And I woke up and I was like, I'm going on a run. You want to join me? And he's like, yeah. So we go on this cute little run. We go to the coffee shop on Commercial and are just talking. And he's telling me the story about how he's there with his friends who are this couple. And like he hooked up with one of them once, but not the other. And I pretty much give him this whole spiel, very much all my woo. I'm very much in my self-help era. And I think I might be a cult leader at some point. But I gave him this kind of whole thing about my viewpoint, which is a lot of these relationships have kind of turned more into like platonic partnerships, and they're outsourcing so much of their intimacy, which is, again, I'm not saying that that's not going to be always part of the evolution of a relationship you're not going to be in that same honeymoon phase of passion. That being said, I think more often than not, we're seeing open relationships be this ability to postpone addressing kind of the core issues in relationships. Sure. And literally then a few days later, I get a message from this boy being like, he hooked up with the guy again. It blew up. He confessed his love. He was like, I want to leave my husband for you. All this stuff. And he's like, God. And he was like, and again, we also didn't really vibe that well in person, like in the way where I was just, it was just like more like friendly than passion. Yeah. And he's like, thank you so much, because our pep talk kind of like guided him through such a chaotic situation. And I'm very much a big believer. I'll teach you a little word. This is the word of the year for me, maktub. It's a Hebrew word, Arabic word, and it just means like it's already written. And it's a big believer in like divine timing, destiny, all of that. Maktub. It's already written. So I was like, we were meant to meet for the sole purpose of me giving you this pep talk to help navigate this chaotic situation. And now it's like a crazy story to say that oftentimes you meet someone cute on the dance floor, you're vibing, and the second question has to be, and where's your boyfriend? Or where's your husband? Because they're always running around somewhere.
Do you think that gay couples then do that more so than straight couples? Do you think that straight couples get divorced earlier if they know that it's not working because they don't have the outsourcing like we do?
I think they're cheating a lot more. And I think the difference is, you want to hear one of my crazy hot takes?
Give it to me.
All right. So I think all gay men need to be tagged like cattle. Like we all need our ears. Like we need little like things and says like coupled or single. And if you are coupled, you could be in an open relationship, but you're only allowed to approach other open guys. And if you're single, you can approach whoever you want. Because if you want to choose that energy, God bless. But what I think is that open couples cannot be chasing single men, because at the end of the day, this is what happens. It's creating this loop where you have all these emotionally unavailable single men who are throwing themselves in between relationships that are supposed to be ending, but aren't, because they have their emotionally unavailable side piece. And it just like continues and continues and continues.
Wait. The emotionally unavailable side piece, are you saying that is their spouse?
No. That's the single third.
Is that you in this scenario?
It could be, but it isn't, because there is nothing more unattractive than a man that isn't obsessed with me, and you can't be obsessed with me if you have to go holding to your husband.
Oh, what about okay? Then are you in your dating era? Are you still in your slut era?
Oh,
are
100%.
you?
I think I'm in a place now where I'm still in my slut era, but that's kind of coming to an end. I kind of like have I have an end date. I've really kind of planned it out.
What's the end date of your slut era?
I'm going
Halloween?
back. I'm going back to Berlin for snacks in November. And I think that's going to be the end. I think that's going to get the rest of it out of my system. And then after that, I'm going to...
What is snacks?
It's like it's one of the 2 weekends a year where Lab and Berghain are connected and women aren't allowed. And it is as chaotic. It was literally my first foray really into nightlife. I was thrown into the deep end of that. I went on a whim alone and had the craziest weekend of my life.
You.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, all I want to do is go to Berlin and sort of, unlearn my shame and sexual repression. But I can't let you give a hot take without me sort of trying to at least poke a hole by you saying that open relationships are only allowed to go for other people in open relationships.
Correct.
However, single people are allowed to go for whomever they would like.
Yes.
Now, do you think that that is a dictatorship if you're saying what married open people are allowed to do? Do you think that takes away any of their rights?
If they want more rights, they should break up with their partner. I'm sorry, if they're so in love, all that stuff, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Well, I think part of your argument here is that you think that people who are in long-term relationships that are open, that are not intimate with each other, they're using their openness as a band-aid for the lack of intimacy that they have. Are you saying that you think that a sexless relationship is a relationship that should not still be a union?
I am not, because that's a generalization. What I'm saying is, anecdotally, I have seen many relationships that I have been dealing with one or both of the couples. And it's a very much like a Rob Anderson, like one hot, one ugly situation.
Oh, I remember that.
And where that is more so the case where they're actually like not really in love anymore. That being said, it's not like I don't believe in ethical non-monogamy. It's not like I don't see the beauty of it and how so many different couples make it work. And on top of that,
would you be in one? Would you be in an open relationship?
You know, I think this single era, like, it's spooky. I don't think I want that. I don't think I want that. I think this is like.
Do you want to get married again?
I don't know. I'll never say never, but I think right now I just want. It's funny. I think when I've been like painting out who is my next partner, there's so many different categories. Obviously, there has to be a foundation of like attraction and passion and sexual compatibility. I think is so important, and we kind of forget about that because we're just looking for, oftentimes it's either one or the other. Either it's just sexual compatibility and it's nothing else, or it's they're so good on paper and they have the job and they build up the lifestyle. And I want it all, because it's part of the manifestation thing, is I'm going to attract it all. They have to be passionate. I don't care what they do, but I have a feeling it's going to be something in the creative world, and they just have to love what they do. I don't care how much money they make. They just have to be so fulfilled by their job, or their creative their creative passion, and then like they have to have experience in a long-term relationship. They either have to be another divorcee or have been in a multiple-year relationship, because at the end of the day, it is a muscle that you really strengthen. And I do think that I'm not looking to be anyone's teacher through their first long-term relationship. Oh, and then the most important thing right now, that they have to have gone through their Saturn return. Like I will not be dating anyone who's about to go through their Saturn return. Not for me. But once they're through it, let's go.
Yeah, you want them to return having learned the lessons, and then they are there.
And then let's see if we vibe.
And then let's see. Yeah, I love that. I think that I love a Jake Cohen hot take, but I also love that you are so open to talking about something as quote unquote taboo as divorce. And so I just want to do one more question, because it really is something I find interesting, especially as a fellow Jew, that I feel like our community is so focused on family and tradition. Mm-hmm. Was it particularly hard to separate from your husband, knowing that there is such an emphasis on family and community, and you'd be sort of stepping away from a quote unquote community in your life?
I mean, of course. I mean, any change in any change like that is going to be difficult, especially since I am such like a family focused person. There was nothing about it that wasn't difficult.
Do you think that's what led to part of your woo-woo-ness, as you needed to sort of find a new sense of self by connecting to the universe and trusting the plan?
Having been in multiple long-term relationships, I've always found support through a partner And this was the first time that I was truly on my own. And when you realize that, you realize so much of, I was lacking so much self-love and self-worth because I put so much of emphasis on that. And that's very much ingrained in us from our community, from society at large, in worthiness through having a partner. And when you don't, there's a feeling of failure. And I just was not going to subscribe to that anymore.
Good for you. I do think that a huge part of growth as a person, especially as a gay person, is just realizing what your value is. And I think that I a lot of times search for my value through either like podcast downloads or a career win or anything.
None of it matters. None of it matters.
That's what I'm really learning is like, honestly, the more quote unquote successful or like more shit I put out there that I used to be too afraid to do. Honestly, the more like I grapple with my sense of value, because I thought that I would feel more valuable the more things were growing professionally. But of course, that's not the case. And so it's been a big mind fuck to be like, oh my God, I need to build myself up and not get it from my partner or from the metrics or from the career shit. And it's been a like brutal but important lesson that I'm very much in the middle of.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is the first time around going through a book launch where I haven't put my entire self-worth on how it does. Because the last time around, it actually really wasn't fun for me. I was a mess. I put so much pressure on myself to make the Times list again. And I was a nightmare. And then I made it. And nothing changed when I made it. It's not like all of a sudden, like I was flooded with serotonin. Life goes on.
Right.
And I'm the same whether I do it or not. My worth is not tied to this. Artist for the artist. And I think very much these books, this one especially, this is by far my favorite cookbook I've written. I think it is so magical. It's the recipes are perfect. I have cameos from my friends and family. So it's like everyone is in this book, from my grandmother to Deborah Messing and Benny Blanco and Katie Couric and Judy Gold. And it's just like every single person in my life is documented in this book in a way that is so important to me because it's the snapshot of the last 2 years of my life.
Which is a beautiful celebration, I think, of the community that you have grown through food. I was telling someone, I was hanging out with a friend last night and I was like, yeah, I'm interviewing Jake Cohen tomorrow again and I'm so excited.
And they were like, who?
He definitely knows who you are, but I actually brought up the Katie Couric of it all. I was like, it's crazy. Like, I was talking about your journey from like, I started following him on Instagram. And then I remember, I didn't tell you this, but when I interviewed you 4 years ago, I barely slept the night before. I was so nervous to interview you. I was like, he is this like successful, funny, hot gay Jew that I look up to. And I was just like, I had really a lack of confidence about a lot of things, but I remember just like feeling so neurotic about the whole thing. And it's been nice to look at the growth for all these years to be like, now I'm only feeling excitement to be able to chat with you in this way. But I think that part of the excitement is that you have grown your community. And I told this friend that Katie Couric was just like someone you all of a sudden were like, cooking with on Instagram out of nowhere. And I was like, this is just a beautiful, like a young gay boy now besties with Jill Zarin and Katie Couric. Speaking of icons, because this book is called Dinner Party Animal, I want us to fantasize about a dinner party that you will throw.
Yeah.
Where you can only invite icons.
Okay.
Legends. But the twist, they're all dead. They're no longer with us. Who are you inviting to your dead icons meal, and what are you serving?
Oh my God. Okay, let's think about this. Who's dead? Who dies anymore? I'm trying to think of who's dead. Let's do famous dead Jews. We'll throw in Amy Winehouse for the hell of it. I just feel like it'd be fun.
Wait, she's Jewish?
Yes, girl.
Oh God, I'm such a...
Oh my God, but that's always like, that's the number one thing when you talk to anyone who's obsessed with Judaism and pop culture. The first thing is, well, they're Jewish or they're half Jewish or they're married to a Jew or this or that. Okay, so we'll throw her.
Oh, who also is dead that was a Jew is Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman.
Of course, he has to come. because he's funny. We need some laughs. We'll do that. We'll do.
Sondheim?
I'm not a musical. I hate musical theater. I really like. Another hot take? You want to hear the craziest part about going to Mayhem Ball?
What?
And I was again, she is my diva. Like she was like my everything as a teenager, all this stuff. And I'm there this time, and obviously these are all songs I love, and yet I had a different connection to it than I did the last time I was there, which was like the Born This Way Ball. And I realized that I'm looking around, I'm like, these are all just theater kids. Like that's it. Like the Gaga fan base, like they're all theater kids.
He says with disdain.
No, but it's just like these are not. I think now that's why I went to Brat 4 times, as I'm in my club kid monster era. I always say my friends and I refer to as like I'm in like my goblin era. And yeah, okay. So who else? We got two.
I'm also seeing
Julia
Carrie Fisher on the
Julia
list.
Child.
Julia Child.
Exactly.
Great.
There we go. We'll throw in Julia Child. And who's a good, like, movie star? Who's like an iconic...
Robin Williams.
Sure, why not? No, it wouldn't be my first pick, but like I'll take it.
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy. You got it. That's it. Ugh. So great. Wait, you never asked me the character actress thing that you prompted me to.
Well, let's do that now because that's going to be the final question before we actually move this interview over to Substack, where I'm going to ask you my horniest, sluttiest questions.
Okay.
So let's do the final question for the main pod before we go over to Slutville, USA. Jake Cohen, if the world was ending, you could only save one character actress. Who would you save?
There's only one answer. And I really think that we don't give her the credit she deserves. It's Toni Collette. Toni Collette is everything. Muriel's Wedding. Come on. Like, I'm obsessed with ABBA. She's the one who like really started that for me. To then go from that into Academy Award nominee for Sixth Sense. But let's be real. The best role she's ever taken on, other than television, because obviously United States of Tara was iconic, but
sure,
Connie and Carla. Connie
I don't know
Carla.
why I thought you were going to say like her part in Knives Out where she was like a fucking woo-woo cunt.
No.
But
that was good. Connie and Carla. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, talk about camp, about a theater troupe duo that witnesses a mob murder and goes undercover as drag queens. Like,
I have seen this movie, but it's been so many years.
You can't find it.
I need a rewatch.
All I wanted to do was find it to show to my house in P-Town, and it was impossible.
It's the Drop Dead Gorgeous of 2025, because I don't know if you remember, but Drop Dead Gorgeous, we could not get anywhere. I had to like buy a fucking DVD off of eBay, but now they finally put it on streaming. Yeah. But now Connie and Carla. And for anybody who wants a reminder, Nia Vardalos, as in
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
With Toni Collette, and then there's a David Duchovny.
Yeah.
There's a Debbie Reynolds. Speaking of dead icons, Alec Mapa, Gay Gerlina. It is absolutely worth you know what? We need to do a true crime then deep dive into finding where we can watch Connie and Carla. Or, yeah. By the way, Toni Collette is a stunning answer, and she is not only the character actress worth saving, but I would hazard a thought to say that she made us gay as well.
Completely.
As the mother in The Sixth Sense.
No. Muriel's Wedding is a story of coming to your power through ABBA. There is nothing gayer than that. The idea of being this person who doesn't think they're worthy of love, and then through Waterloo finding their strength, and then all of a sudden getting married to this hot fucking man. I'm sorry.
Check. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, we as gay people deserve to be dicked down with ABBA in the background, and that is.
And I am like obsessed with an Australian. Like, when I tell you Australian men, I just one after the other. I can't get enough.
Meaning you keep fucking Australian men?
I keep.
You know what? Don't answer that. We're gonna leave it.
Falling in love with them.
Oh, sure. Well, we're going to keep the next of my horny gay journalist questions for the Substack. So, Jake Cohen, while we have you here in the main pod, will you please tell our listeners where to follow you, where they can get this stunning new book?
Yes. You can follow me at Jake Cohen. This book, Dinner Party Animal, wherever books are sold. Oh, especially signed copies on All Stora, an incredible queer bookstore that really helps the community. But more importantly, it has 16 menus for any type of dinner party, from bagel brunches to every night dinners to your Thanksgiving, with grocery lists, timelines. The recipes are amazing. There are dinner party questions from everyone from former guest on the pod, Brian Derrick, to Benj Pasek and Alex Edelman, to Judy Gold and Betty Blanco, to Katie Couric and Taffy Ackner. Everyone makes a cameo. It's really fun, and I know you're going to love it because your mother's going to love it.
Hell fucking yeah. Everybody, it is linked in the description. Go follow Jake. Go get the book. And just thank you, Jake, for continuing to make the world a gayer, yummier, sluttier place.
Oh, people are going to be so angry at me. I just know I'm about to get, I'm like, ugh. But let them cyberbully me, whatever. Listen,
so.
And if you're in an open relationship, God bless. Go with God. I'm not your mother. Do whatever you want, but I'm allowed to think what I'm allowed to think.
Stay gay. Thanks for joining me on That's a Gay Ass Podcast, you stupid bitch. If you enjoyed this interview with Jake Cohen, well, you should go to Substack to hear the rest of our conversation, where he tells us some real slutty tales about some celebrities he has fucked, things that he enjoys in the sack, and more, over at the Substack linked in the description. There's also a bonus episode this week with Luke Monday, who is the hairy, sexy king currently on the Moulin Rouge national tour, and we get to hear all about his sexual life as well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Happy Virgo season, and I'll see you next week. You've been listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast, hosted by me, Eric Williams. If you want to see and hear more, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and follow the Instagram at Gay Ass Podcast. For more gay assery, the real girlies are over on Substack, where you get bonus episodes every single week and live chats with me and other gay ass guests. That's a Gay Ass Podcast is executive produced by Eric Williams and produced by Nathaniel McClure. We'll see you next week.